We just wanted to take this time and thank you all for coming to this very special moment in our lives and celebrating it with us as we prepare to be married and to join our lives as one. You've all meant so much to us over the years, and you've all been a part of raising us, and we consider all of you family. So we just wanted to thank you all for coming and for being with us at this special time. Some of the things I hope that our marriage will bring about are the same types of things that we already have in our relationship, like a playful attitude and not always taking life too seriously and having fun together and just enjoying being together.
I'm really excited that we're able to minister together. That's something that I'm highly looking forward to.
Tanya and I, at this point in our relationship, we just love being together. We love ministering together, and we love praying together. We love reading God's Word together, and those type of things. I just want to keep that where we're not living separate lives, but we're always enjoying being together.
That through our interaction together, that we will grow each other closer to God. And I know already, even like Jason has inspired me so much with his passion for God and just his heart for seeking God and what He wants. But just that will increase more and more, and that in turn I will do the same for him and increase his desire for God. Okay, this is to Mom and Dad Platt.
Well, Mom and Dad Spearman, just be patient, all right?
Grandkids. Yeah, hopefully. We plan on having grandkids for you.
We have a few plans first. We're looking at probably 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years. So, just hold your horses.
Probably 3 or 4.
If we have 15, that's cool too. But maybe 1 girl, 2 boys, 2 boys, 2 girls, something like that. But we're looking at 4 to 5 years, maybe 3 to 4 kids. That's kind of how we're planning things. We realize that the way we plan things will probably never work out. But hey, that's our plans.
My philosophy of love. I know that God has a hand in who is supposed to be your lifetime partner, but I don't think it's like one set. And if that person dies, you're never going to get married and you're single for the rest of your life.
I think that's kind of a theological question. I think in the mind of God, there's one person for each person to marry, but I think that, obviously from the way that we view things, the way that we view life in the world, different choices we make. For instance, when I was deciding what college I wanted to go to, it was between Moody and another college in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Had I gone to that college, I never would have met Tanya. I never would be marrying Tanya. So from our point of view, we can make different choices, and I think that in following God's will, there's a number of different ways that we could go as far as that. So ultimately, I think God has someone planned out for us to date and to marry eventually. But from our point of view, different choices we can make, we have choices on who we can marry, and we can be in God's will as we make those choices.
I would say that I know Jason is the one, just because, one, I just have a peace about it with God. But other than that, then the peace with God thing is just that he's my best friend, and that I've never met someone who I could fully be myself with. That's why I would say I know he's the one.
Well, it was our junior year of college here at Moody. We were on a brother and sister floor that year, and we started hanging out. From there, we kept on being good friends. We eventually went on a camping trip together.
We met on a camping trip, and just while we were on the camping trip, which I wasn't supposed to go on.
It was on that camping trip that we really got to know each other quite well. and we really got to spend a lot of time talking, and I was able to tell her about I'm very proud of my heritage from Watervliet, coming from a small town of 2,000 people. And just telling her about that and hearing about some of her life story, we just spent a lot of time talking together.
We started a friendship there, and we just clicked and just enjoyed each other's company. And so we just started hanging out more, and I started falling for him just through the building of the friendship. Last year sometime he had an injury to his leg, and I was at home and he was up in Michigan, and so I was supposed to call him at this certain time at 8 o'clock at night on Monday night. And if I didn't call at 8 o'clock on Monday night, then he was going to be searching Georgia, trying to find out why I hadn't called. So I called at 8 o'clock and he wasn't there, and called at 9 o'clock and he wasn't there. Finally it got to 11 o'clock and his mom answered the phone and told me that he had been rushed to the emergency room. And it was then that I realized how much I cared for him deeply. So I guess I would say that would be like the turning point where I was like, whoa.
And after that, things carried on. We had a few coffee shop experiences and a few long talks over coffee and a couple of long walks, and eventually we came to a kind of a crisis moment in our relationship.
And then one day he asked me out to coffee through various, to go and talk, and I guess prior to it he had been dealing with like, what should I do? I'm getting this really good friendship with this girl, but I have this girl back home kind of thing, and he's a very loyal person. So he took me out to coffee and he just explained to me, you know what, Tanya, like, I have to stay loyal to this girl back home. Like, you know, you're a great girl, I love our friendship, but that's how it's gonna be. So from prior friendship that I had before, I was like, okay, I know I'm becoming emotionally attached to this guy. I need to cut it off. So I pretty much told him, you know, that's great. And I totally had a piece from God. I was like, you know, that's great, but I'm going to have to cut it off because I know sometime down the road I'll have feelings for you. Although at the time I already had feelings for him.
So eventually we went to SBC one day and we talked things out completely. And what I told her was that, you know, I had this girl at home, and the fact that I was willing to give up my friendship with Tanya proved how much I cared about her. And we went back to school from SBC, both of us. We went to work right after that. We were both crying, and it wasn't a good situation at all. I haven't felt that sick to my stomach emotionally for a long time. So we knew we had to get things talked out. So we went on a long walk, and we ended up in the 4th Presbyterian Church courtyard. And it was there that we talked things out some more, but we felt better about things, even though the conclusion was the same. And on the way home from the 4th Pres courtyard, Tanya told me, for the first time any woman had ever told this to me as far as someone like Tanya, she said,
I told him that I would fight for him. So she always told me it was stuck out to him very much. So that I would fight for him.
And when she told me that, I was floored that she would have that kind of feeling for me, that she would fight for me, to win my heart. And that was the first time anyone had ever shown that kind of resolve for my friendship, let alone for my companionship as Tanya had. We
had already had it set up that we were going to go to his house and for the weekend and to do some apple cidering, and he was going to go out to dinner with her and profess that he wanted to continue a relationship with her.
A few days later, we went home for an apple cidering trip in Michigan, and I was really processing things quickly, and I knew I didn't want to lose this friendship, and I knew I would do anything to keep it, but I wasn't sure if I would do anything as far as, dropping the girl at home and going after Tanya. And after some days of long prayer and fasting and seeking God's will, I decided that yes, God was moving me in the direction of Tanya, and that even if that meant giving up something that was so special and so important to me, that I would move in the direction I felt he was leading me, and that was towards Tanya.
He went out to dinner and came back, and he just told me all he said was everything God said that needed to be said, and then he fell asleep that night. So I still didn't know if they were dating. I just assumed they were dating, and then we came home, and I was like, hey, Jason, I figured out the boundaries that I've set for us, so I need to talk to you before we head back to Chicago, because if I don't, then it's not going to happen. So he was like, oh, good, I want to tell you how it went last night. I was like, good. So we went on a walk, and he told me, I told him the boundaries, how I wasn't going to communicate with him at all, no emails, no phone calls, nothing. If I saw him, that was great. If I didn't, that was great too. Then he continued on to tell me about his dinner the night before, which concluded after a long roundabout conversation that over the days prior to, God had been laying on his heart that he was making the wrong decision and that he needed to go, he needed to cut off the friendship with the other girl back home and continue a friendship with me, which he knew when he made that decision. That he told me later, he knew that when he made that decision that I was the one for him.
Yeah. And from there, things developed, and on the top of the Saks Fifth Avenue, we kind of started our relationship, and that was a little over a year ago now, about a year and a half ago. I proposed to Tanya in the 4th Presbyterian Courtyard, same place that we had so many key talks in our relationship and spent so much time together. It was a long night. We went to the Cheesecake Factory, went to the top of the John Hancock building, and then things worked out perfectly. We went down to the 4th Pres Courtyard, and I knelt there by the steps and asked her to be my wife, and without saying yes, she went into singing a song, and she sang the whole song, and eventually I said, well, does that mean yes? And she was like, of course it means yes, and we hugged and went on a carriage ride, and she had a dozen roses waiting for her back at school. It was a very nice evening. It was a kind of a magical evening, one to remember. Tanya, sweetheart, if there was one thing that there's a ton of things that I would love to spend my life trying to communicate to you, but if there was one single thing that I would want to communicate to you for the rest of my life, it is that I truly love you, and that my love for you is completely without condition. Tanya, you are the greatest thing that God has ever brought into my life. And I stand here amazed that He would give you to me and that He would give me to you. I know you're not going to be perfect. I know you're not perfect now. I know that there's going to be times where you fail. There's going to be times where I fail. But I want you to know that I will always love you. And my love for you is without any condition.
Jason, the one message I hope that you get out of our life together, I guess would be that I admire and I count it a privilege to work alongside a man of such great integrity and such great character that words can't express my admiration for you.